Good afternoon, Madam President, Your Honors. This is the situation in the Republic of Kenya. In the case of the Prosecutor versus Francis Kirimi Muthaura, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and Mohammed Hussein Ali, case reference ICC-01/09-002/11. Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you, Court Officer. On behalf of the Chamber, I welcome the parties, the prosecutor and his team, the defense teams of the three suspects, the suspects themselves, Mr. Muthuaura, Mr. Kenyatta, and Mr. Ali, and also the legal representative for victims. At this instance, I would invite the parties and the legal representative to introduce themselves, starting with the Office of the Prosecutor. Mr. Ocampo, the floor is over to you. Who is today with you in your team?
Thank you very much, Madam President, Your Honors. The Prosecutor Office is represented today by Adeshola Adeboyecho, Akimbolahan Adeniran, Alex Whiting, Nicole Sampson, Olivia Struven, Desiree Lurth, Shamiso Mbiso, and Ramu Vitae, and the prosecutor himself, Luis Moreno Campo.
Thank you, Mr. Prosecutor. Now I turn to the defense. I would ask the defense teams to represent themselves, and as long as in this case there are three suspects, and accordingly three defense teams, the Chamber suggests that the defense teams present themselves and also make their presentations in the order adopted by the prosecutor in his case. This, of course, is without prejudice to the freedom of any defense team to raise any issue of their concern throughout the hearing these days without following this order. Having said this, I ask the defense team of Mr. Muthuaura to present themselves.
Madam President, Your Honors, good afternoon. Ambassador Muthuaura, who sits behind me, is represented by Mr. Esafal, Mr. Kennedy Ageto, who sits behind, next to the ambassador, Shamala Alagendra. These are the lawyers in court. We are also assisted outside court by Ms. Venkateshwari Alagendra, she's in the gallery, and by our case manager, Mr. Anand Shah. My name is Karim Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Now I turn to the defense team of Mr. Kenyatta. Would you be so kind to present yourself, Counsel?
Thank you, Your Honour. Madam President and Your Honours, I'm Stephen Kay of Queen's Counsel representing Mr. Kenyatta. Next to me sits Mr. Desterio Oyatsi. Mr. Kenyatta is at the end of this row. Miss Gillian Higgins of the London Bar is also behind me, and Miss Wambui Gishuri is behind me as well.
Thank you very much, Counsel Kay. And now finally, the defense team of Mr. Ali, who appears today on his behalf.
Yes. Madam President, Your Honors, for Mr. Ali, who sits next to me, is Gregory Kiho of the New York Bar, together with Mr. Otachi and Mr. Orina from the Kenya Bar. My name is Evans Munari.
Thank you, Mr. Munari. Now I turn to the legal representative of 233 victims that have been authorized to participate in the proceedings of this case. Would you present yourself, and is someone assisting you in your job?
Good afternoon, Madam President. Good afternoon, Your Honors. My name is Morris Anya. I represent the victims in this case. Seated to my right is my case manager, Ms. Anushka Sen. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Anya. We shouldn't forget, of course, the registrar and her office that are rendering valuable assistance and support to the chamber, to the parties, and to the participants. So would you tell us, Madam Registrar, who is here today with you?
Good afternoon, Madam President, Your Honors. Grateful for your invitation to appear in these proceedings. With me is Natasha Schroeder, Associate Legal Officer, and Cyril Lauci, Legal Officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Madame Arbia. Now, at this point in time, let me introduce my colleagues, the judges of Pretrial Chamber 2, and the legal team of the judges. On my right is Judge Hans-Peter Kaul. On my left is Judge Cuno Tarfusser. In front of the bench are Mr. Gilbert Biti, the senior legal advisor for the Pretrial Division, Ms. Eleni Haitidu, legal officer, Mr. Mohammed El Zaidi, legal officer, Mr. Silvestros Tazzone, associate legal officer, and we have another associate legal officer present in the courtroom, Mr. Simon Grabrovec, sitting just behind the chamber, behind the registrar. Now I would ask Mr. Muthuaura, Mr. Kenyatta, and Mr. Ali to individually stand up and identify themselves to the chamber. I will ask first Mr. Muthuaura. Mr. Muthuaura, would you identify yourself by stating your full name, your date and place of birth, and your current occupation?
Madam President, Your Honors, my name is Francis Kirimi Muthaura, born 1946 in Meru, Kenya, and I'm the head of public service and also secretary to the cabinet.
Thank you, Mr. Muthuaura. Please be seated. I turn with the same question to Mr. Kenyatta. Mr. Kenyatta, would you kindly stand up and identify yourself by stating your full name, date and place of birth, and current occupation?
Thank you, Madam President. My name is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, born 26th October 1961, and I am currently the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance of the Republic of Kenya.
And place of birth?
Nairobi.
Thank you. Finally, Mr. Ali, would you identify yourself, giving us answers to this question? Full name, date and place of birth, and current occupation.
Thank you very much, Madam President. My name is Ali Mohammed Hussein. I was born on 16th of February 1956 in Eldoret, Kenya.
And your current occupation?
Right now as the Chief Executive Officer of the Postal Corporation of Kenya.
Yes, thank you. You could be seated. Before we resort to our business of today, the Chamber sitting on this case finds it necessary to very briefly make some clarifications, starting with the nature of this hearing and the role that the Pretrial Chamber has to play. As has been highlighted in a number of decisions issued on behalf of the Chamber, the confirmation of charges hearing is neither a trial before trial or a mini trial, nor a first instance court. In contrast to trial, this chamber does not have to decide on the person's guilt. Rather, our duty is to distinguish cases that should go to trial from those that should not, by determining whether there is sufficient evidence to establish substantial grounds to believe that the suspects committed the crimes charged as provided for in Article 61(7) of the Rome Statute. At this point, the Chamber takes note of concerns raised by the defense teams. In this case, that, I quote, "The confirmation hearing must not be a pro forma proceeding or rubber stamping of the prosecutor's case," quote end. Therefore, it is my duty to, on behalf of the Chamber, emphasize that the Chamber does know its responsibilities assigned by law and does not at all underestimate this hearing, does not undervalue the responsibilities of the prosecutor and the commitments of the defense. However, the Chamber is firmly determined to act within the legal parameters its legitimate role and responsibilities, and not to take over responsibilities of a trial chamber which are not provided by law to any pretrial chamber.
Count 1. Muthuaura and Kenyatta. Murder constituting crime against humanity. Articles 7(1)(a) and 25(3)(a) of the Rome Statute. From on or about 30 December 2007 to 31 January 2008, Francis Kirimi Muthaura and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, as co-perpetrators, committed or contributed to the commission of crimes against humanity, namely the murder of civilian supporters of the Orange Democratic Movement political party in or around locations including Nakuru Town, bracket, Nakuru District, Rift Valley Province, close bracket, and Naivasha Town, open bracket, Naivasha District, Rift Valley Province, close bracket, Republic of Kenya, in violations of Articles 7(1)(a) and 25(3)(a) of the Rome Statute. Count 2. Ali. Murder constituting a crime against humanity. Articles 7(1)(a) and 25(3)(d) of the Rome Statute. From on or about 30 December 2007 to 31st January 2008, Mohammed Hussein Ali, as part of a group of persons, including Francis Kirimi Muthaura and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, acting with a common purpose, committed or contributed in the commission of crimes against humanity, namely the murder of civilian supporters of the Orange Democratic Movement political party in or around locations including Nakuru Town, open bracket, Nakuru District, Rift Valley Province, close bracket, and Naivasha Town, open bracket, Naivasha District, Rift Valley Province, close bracket, Republic of Kenya, in violations of Articles 7(1)(a) and 25(3)(d) of the Rome Statute.